Hello, if you're new here, my name is Ryan Brown, a weight loss coach for busy professionals who are seeking to lose weight, right? If you're struggling to maintain a healthy way of eating, if you've tried a bunch of diets and they haven't worked, if you believe that you've tried everything, if you have the belief that you're too old to lose weight, or you're too busy, or you haven't got time, or it's because you have a family now, or whatever reasons you have, I can help you. In today's video, I want to share with you some of the common mistakes I see across the board when I have conversations with people about weight loss and people who I'm currently working with, some of the issues that they have from a weight loss perspective. And I believe that these three reasons I'm going to give you are sort of very important, right? There are others, but everything sort of fall under these three sort of reasons why a lot of people struggle to lose weight, and not only lose weight, but lose weight and be able to keep the weight off forever, right? So they are able to live optimal in the ideal body or the ideal size that they want. So the first one is not planning what you eat or we eat, or plan our meals ahead of time, right? And this is such a huge problem, right? Because we have the idea that, okay, I want to be spontaneous. I want to eat what I feel like, whenever I feel like, right? And there's nothing wrong with that in terms of, the only problem with that is that will sort of feed into the fast food role, I will call the unhealthy way of eating, right? I mean, it's why once you go on the street, there's so much fast food restaurants about. It's why there's Uber Eat 24/7, because people really want the convenience of not planning. Because let's be honest, planning what you're gonna eat or ahead of time takes time, right? But the more you do it, obviously, it's the less time it will take, and you'll be more intentional, right? It just frees up your energy to go and do something else. For instance, clients who I work with, I say to them, plan every week. Before you start the week, make sure you plan. For some people, they want to plan the day, what they were gonna eat. Some people will happily plan the week before. Or, for me, I start my planning on a Sunday. So Sunday, I know exactly what I'm gonna eat, what I'll be eating for the rest of the week, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it's something that I encourage. We must plan what we're gonna, because when we plan, we are intentionally thinking about tomorrow, the other day, the next day, what I'm going to eat, right? So you are actually intentionally thinking about your health, not just in the current moment, but your future self down the line. And I think this is such an important thing, right? If we don't plan what we'll eat, it leaves the door open for us to just grab whatever we want. And we know that way of thinking, right? Look, we just have to be honest with ourselves. We know this way of, I eat whatever I want, just doesn't work, right? For some people, lean, trim, look good. But I guarantee you that for majority of people, that does not work. So we must plan what we're eating. That's one of the mistakes. It's people just not planning. The second one is we're unaware of what we're eating, right? I mean, when I'm working with clients, they come in, one of the things I always ask is, I need a food audit of probably 2 months, 3 months, however long they can remember, all the foods that they've been eating, right? And there's so much people that does not remember what they've been eating, right? And this is like, okay, yeah, that's a red flag for me, right? If you don't know what you've been eating over the last week or 2 weeks, then that simply means that there's no consciousness going on in what you're trying to create or what you're trying to eat, right? And look, food has the biggest impact on your health, period, right? If you don't eat a healthy diet, or a diet will help you to maintain a level of optimal health, your body will break down. And a lot of times it doesn't happen overnight, but bit by bit. And it's all down to the foods you're eating. I promise you that for a lot of people, if you tidy your diet up, you see massive changes in your health, instant. And it will take days, right? Because the food impacts your body within minutes. That's how important food is to your overall health and well-being. It has the biggest impact. It's why we must be aware of what we're eating, right? If somebody come to me and ask me what you've been eating for the last 3 weeks, I could tell you everything I've been eating, right? Because I have a list of food that I work with, and I really go out off that list and have something that's not on that list. Yes, I do at times, but 99.9% of the time I'm planning. And then what I encourage my clients to do, and people who I generally talk to on the regular, just plan, just make sure that you're aware of what you're eating. And I would say just have a list of foods and work with this list, right? And as I say, I'm not saying you should veer off the list or not eat or only eat what's on the list, because you have to enjoy your life somehow. But make sure that you are aware of what you're eating, right? You must be aware of what you're eating. And I say the easiest way to do that is just have a list of foods. I'm eating that, I'm eating that, I'm eating that. And that all ties back into planning. Yeah, so the second one is just unaware of what we're eating, unaware of what we are creating unconsciously, right? And this could show up in we're eating too much carbohydrates, we're eating too late at night, we're drinking one or too much beer or alcohol, if you will. We are just not eating on a regular basis. That's another thing. So YouTube people just eat, okay, whenever I'm hungry, I will be eating. And sometimes the body likes routine, right? The body likes a set routine. When you're having breakfast, when you're having lunch, when you're having dinner, when you're going to bed. So we must be aware of all these things. If we are not aware of when we're eating, what we're eating, what time, how often, then as I say, we're opening the door wide open to create something that are very unconscious, right? Here's a quick tip. A lot of people who gain weight, it's not something that they gain overnight. It's something that they've been brewing at for 10, 15, sometimes 20 years, bit by bit by bit. And a lot of it has been gone unconscious, right? We're just unaware of what we are doing. So that's the second one. Just become aware. We're unaware of what we're putting in our bodies on a daily basis. The third one, and I believe probably out of the three, this is probably the most important one, is not taking responsibility, right? We just don't take responsibility. We blame all the circumstances out there why we can't lose weight. And we see this all the while, right? People say, I'm busy, okay? I've got a family. I've had a conversation with a guy recently, and he says the reason why he's gained weight is because he's got family, he's married, and he's got 2 kids. And blessed, look, I'm not saying, but look, you're blaming your wife and kids for you gaining weight, right? This is, I think, again, not taking responsibility, right? Because if we take responsibility, we realize that we can control so much more than what we say we can't. Some people, it's work, it's time, traveling too much, it's too cold, right? All of these things that we have, that we are saying is just consequences of us not taking responsibility, right? Because once you start taking responsibility, you will see that these things are not a factor in you gaining weight or can't lose weight. Look, I'm not saying they are not true for a lot of people, because one of the things about these beliefs, if you believe them for so long, they become true for you, right? It's real for you because you believe this thing for so long. But what if I say to you, by just taking responsibility, you can shift a lot of the blame game we have around weight loss, right? I had a conversation with a friend of mine last night, and one of the things that they talk about is their partner bringing in sweets in the house, right? That's one of the reasons I can't stop eating sweets, because my partner always brings sweets in the house, right? And again, I'm not saying that's not the case, but if you take responsibility, then you will realize that doesn't matter how much sweet comes in the house, you have a responsibility to your own health, right? I know the environment is the invisible hands that shapes who you are as a person, but at the same time, not taking responsibility, you're just blaming everything around you and not taking responsibility in your own self to look after your health. So those are the 3 main things, I believe. Not planning what we're eating, we're unaware of what we're eating, we're just eating off the cuff, eating for what we feel like, and then we're not taking responsibility, right? We're just not taking responsibility. We blame everything around us for why we can't lose weight or why we are gaining weight. So the solution, so here's some solutions I want to add that you could take away and add into your own life and see how they work. I guarantee that they work. They work for me. They work for people who have currently working with and worked with before. The first one, we need to plan. And we go back to what I said earlier, we need to plan. How you plan, there's 2 ways that you can plan. I encourage my clients plan on a Sunday so you know what you're going to eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner throughout the week. Because once the week kicks in, it's probably not the best time to plan. For some people, they like to plan every morning. So they wake up before they go to bed at night, they will do a daily plan. This is what I'm going to eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner tomorrow. Some people need the spontaneous of, I want to eat that tomorrow. But just making sure that we're planning what we're eating, right? And when we say plan, I don't mean we need to plan drinking green smoothies, eating salads, all the healthiest food that you think are the healthiest food in the world. That's not what I mean by planning. Yes, if you can plan those foods and you will eat them, plan. But the most important thing about planning is to make sure whatever you plan is what you're eating, right? I always recommend, don't plan you're going to have a green smoothie or a salad for breakfast, but when the time comes, you don't eat it. If you think you're going to have chips and burger for breakfast, plan that and stick to that. Because the idea is the more you plan and stick to your plan is the more you can adjust what you're eating, right? There's no point you making a plan and don't stick to the plan. Then we're defeating the process. So I say plan for what you're eating and make sure that you plan what you think or you know you will eat, right? Do not put something on the plan that, look, I just won't do, right? So the first one is make sure we're planning. Another thing about planning that we need to make sure that we're doing is, because look, life comes at us very fast, and we may plan to have a perfect day on Monday, a perfect day on Tuesday, or an ideal day, if you will, and it doesn't work out that way. Long hours of work, family matters, circumstances show up. So we really want to create some room or some space for things to change in our plan, right? So if you know you might have a spontaneous day on Tuesday or Monday, plan for that. Look, I will do takeaway on Tuesday, but put that in the plan. Because as I say, the plan is not necessary to make sure that we're eating green smoothies or eating salads. The plan is to make sure that we stick to what we're going to say, or stick to what we say we're going to do, right? And by doing that, the more and more you do that, is the more and more you can add different things into the plan that will really shape your health, or help you to lose weight, or help you to maintain a lean and healthy body. So that's the first thing. We must plan. The second one is start where you are. Start where you are, right? Start where you are. And this ties right into taking responsibility, right? Taking responsibility. I say the minute we start taking responsibility is the minute, doesn't matter how much time we have, it doesn't matter how big our family is, it doesn't matter how busy it is, we will take responsibility for what we have, because you already got a family, you already got work, you're already working 12, 13 hours a day, whatever the situation is or the circumstances, that's already there. You can't change that, but you can change how you respond to each circumstance, each situation. And it's why I believe that we need to take responsibility. Take responsibility for what you're creating unconsciously, right? If by planning is a form of taking responsibility. The more you plan is the more you're taking responsibility for your own health, and not waiting on one day to take action. A lot of people, so it's almost like when they say, I'm too busy, it's almost as if, okay, for me to take my health seriously, I have to not be busy. For me to lose weight, I have to get rid of my family. For me to lose weight, I have to have more time. I don't know what the perfect situation is for you, but if that perfect situation comes, then I will lose weight. And I believe that's just a classic sign of people not taking responsibility. That is a classic sign. Once you take responsibility for where you are, what you're doing on every given moment. And I'm not saying it's a perfect or ideal situation all the while. Circumstances will come up and show you off route, and you have to deviate or do whatever you need to do. But majority of time, take responsibility. And don't blame circumstances, the wife, the kids, the work, the busyness, the time, for you not taking responsibility for your health. So make sure that we are taking responsibility and planning, taking responsibility. And I would say is, look, if we sit down and wait on one day, someday to take care of our health, it's the reason why we have so much, you could say, sick people in the world today, right? Because We're just waiting on somebody out there to come and rescue us from who we are as a person, right? By not taking responsibility. And I'm not saying it's not difficult for everybody. It's difficult for everybody, and it's challenging, right? People who work long hours, I'm included. It's a challenge. People who have huge families, a challenge. But if we can take responsibility, a lot of times people say that to be healthy or to lose weight is expensive. I'm not so sure it is. It all depends on how you look at it. I think that you can lose weight on a decent budget. You don't have to break the bank or go and buy the most expensive food. If you take responsibility, you realize that you probably save more a lot of times, because a lot of us just spend because we want to sort of deal with our emotions in ways that doesn't favor us long term. So again, taking responsibility for what you are creating on a daily basis. So again, we plan what we are eating. Make sure that we are aware of everything that we are eating. I say have a list of foods that you eat, your favorite foods, and work around them, and make sure that you're planning each meal, right? Another thing that I'm going to share with you is, like, when I talk to a lot of people, they believe that weight loss is this thing that they have to drink green smoothies every day. They can't eat no sugar. They can't eat any bread. They can't have a beer. They can't have wine. So we have this all or nothing thinking. It's either I am not eating all of these foods or I'm eating them, right? But I want to offer that you can actually have sugar and still lose weight. You can have the wine and still lose weight. You can eat bread and still lose weight. It's neither heat or heart. It's both. I think it's both. But it's just understanding, managing, planning, setting boundaries around some of these foods that we're eating. And I think the rest will take care of itself. Well, if you interested in taking this work deeper, if you want to know more about the work I do, I've just shared a lot of information with you. And sometimes I believe the magic is the information. I think the information is important, but the magic is actually applying the information, right? We must apply. They say knowledge is power, but it becomes only really powerful when you apply the knowledge that you've learned, when you apply the insight. I think one of the best things about information is implementation. As you get an information, can you implement it? The quicker you can implement it is the more it moves you forward onto the next thing, right? The longer you wait is the bigger that decision becomes and heavier. So if you think like you want to take this work deeper, if you're interested in the work I do, if you want to know more about the work I do and how we can work together, how I can help you, go over to ryanbrown.com, click on the consultation there, and sign up for a consultation where we can sit down, have a chat, look at where you are, where you want to go, what it look like for you to get there, and how we can both make it happen, or we can both work together. Thank you for watching. I hope you find value in this video. If you like this video, please feel free to like it or share it. And thank you for watching. See you soon.